So originally, I started YouTube when I had gone vegan and I was 16 years old. I had also recently recovered from a very serious bout of having anorexia, so recovered from an eating disorder and then went straight into being a raw vegan. I gained a following pretty quickly at the time because I was creating a community of people that were going through the same things as me. It was just a growing trend, and I was one of the first young people to start putting content out there about being vegan, being a teenager, eating disorder recovery, vegan lifestyle, all of that stuff. And it was a wonderful time period in my life, and I'm so grateful for all of it. But somewhere after that, things just got a little messed up. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is Izzy. I'm 26 years old. I actually wear glasses now, but I don't have them on because the ring light would be reflecting. So there are so many things that are different about me. I've grown up a lot. I have a job. I work for a business consulting firm that consults other natural products businesses. I have a pretty fun job. I get to go to a lot of trade shows where there are all these healthy food brands and consumer product goods, personal care and all of that good stuff, natural, organic products. And I just want to share my life with you guys, and that's all.
If you know me personally, at some point, face to face, you've heard this story before, because as life goes on, there aren't too many stories like this you're ever going to hear. I knew a very old man. He's still alive now, but one of these days I'm going to get an email letting me know that he's died and his funeral is coming up. And he was a very young boy during World War II. His mother was a member of the Nazi Party. And she quit the Nazi Party the same day she found out about the Holocaust. Not the same week, not the same month. She was at a Nazi Party conference in her city or her town. They did not live in one of the major cities like Berlin. The same day she found out that her political party, the political party in power, a political party she had supported for years, the same day she found out they were killing people in concentration camps, she quit. And she quit very publicly. And everyone in her town knew that she quit, and everyone in the Nazi Party knew that she quit. It wasn't quiet. It wasn't secret. It wasn't mousy. Did it make a goddamn bit of difference? No. I mean, she wasn't some powerful person who changed the course of nations. She was a housewife raising this guy who decades later would be my friend and who's now an old man. She had what it took to make the change that day instead of making excuses. What I warn you guys about again and again and again is that the excuses are harder to quit than the thing itself. Once you've gotten into the habit of mind of making excuses, whether it's excuses for things you enjoy or excuses for people who happen to be your friend or excuses because it's your side. You're a member of the Republican Party and you make excuses for Republicans. You're a member of the Democrat Party, you make excuses, whatever. It's your team. You have to be very, very much aware of the excuse-making mentality. You know what's even harder? You have to be aware of the role of cowardice. You have to be aware of the role of bravery, in your life. I had a friend, a guy who very much liked to still be my friend today. You'll figure out one moment why I couldn't stand him. He sent me some emails over the years trying to rekindle the friendship. And I remember he sent me an email one day. He'd slept for a couple nights at a farm in the remote countryside in China. And he wrote to me and said, gee, maybe you're really onto something with this vegetarian thing. I'm vegan, not vegetarian. He said, oh, last night they slit the throat of a pig right in front of me while I was sitting there on the porch with this family of farmers in rural China. And, whoa, it really shook me up. He didn't describe it at length, but he talked about how it also shook him up just looking in the eyes of, seeing the emotions of the other people on that porch. The fact that they don't care, the fact that they don't feel anything is just as significant as the fact that he does feel something. But guess what my reaction is? Yeah, motherfucker, and I saw you eating pork today. Yeah, that's right. You got the memo yesterday on the farm and you ain't changed yet. And there's no fucking risk to your person. Do you have any idea what danger you're in living under a Nazi regime? We're not talking about neo-Nazis here. We're not talking about poor people who go to prison in the United States of America and sign up for this fucking pathetic ideology because they're afraid for their lives. I mean, it's pathetic, but Nazism has been reborn as the ideology of the weak and the poor, of the uneducated, redneck underclass in American prisons. It's truly pitiable. And remember, there are 16-year-olds in prison. There are 18-year-olds in prison. The same way there were 16-year-olds who signed up to join the fucking German army in World War II and 18-year-olds who were drafted into the German army and didn't know what the fuck they'd signed up for and found out when it was too late. Yeah, to turn against your commanding officer in a time of war, to switch sides in the middle of a war, dangerous. Even as a civilian, to turn against the party in power, a totalitarian party in that context, dangerous, high risk, heroism, as opposed to cowardice. For you to make the decision, hey, my eyes are open now. I realize where pork comes from. I realize where beef comes from. I realize where cheese comes from. And I'm not going to make excuses anymore. How much bravery does that take? And this is why the divide is so deep and so invidious and so vicious between vegans and ex-vegans. Because I can't make the excuse for you that you're just some dumb teenager who got locked up in prison on drunk driving charges, say, and ended up joining a neo-Nazi gang because you were tired of being beaten up by the other inmates. I can't make the excuse for you that you're some dumb kid who grew up with stories about World War I and signed up to join the army in World War II, basically thinking it was going to be no morally different than World War I or any other. You're some dumb kid who was a teenager, signed up because you just thought you were defending Germany against France and didn't put any more thought into it. That only later figured out what the fuck you were fighting for and who you were slaughtering and what the consequences would be. I can't make that excuse for you. When you're an ex-vegan and an anti-vegan, you know exactly what you're doing. And it's no longer the case that you're just as bad as the Nazis. You are worse.
I've really been wanting to make this video to talk about why I'm not vegan anymore, especially because since I started all of my social media, especially my YouTube channel, it was all about vegan content. It was something I really believed in, but